Thank you to Shortform for sponsoring this video. Hello friends, it's Simon. Now, a regular reading habit is one of the most powerful catalysts to personal growth. For me, it's been huge in learning to grow this business. The problem is, many of us find it super hard to consistently read books. Time distractions, the cost of buying them, not to mention the fact that we have so many options these days for reading books, from Kindle to iPad, e-readers, audiobooks. It can all get pretty overwhelming. So today, I'm going to address the classic iPad versus Kindle versus books versus audiobooks question. I'll show you how finding the right tech for reading books will actually help you read more, do it more consistently and enjoy it, but also help you actually retain what you've learned more effectively. But to find your perfect reading setup, we first need to understand the differences between them. So we'll consider the quality of reading experience, cost and affordability, convenience, ease of note-taking, but it might just be the powerful add-ons that are the real game changers. Let's start with physical books, and we'll finish with a powerful set of tools you might just be ignoring that could be defining the future of how we read. Of course, the experience of owning and reading a physical book is right up there for many, and if this is what gives you pleasure and makes you read more, then commit to it. Great. I still pick up certain books in paper form, like this one, for that reason, and they don't break when you drop them, so that's an added bonus. But I have a few issues to raise with the anti-Kindle crew against physical books only. So I personally love the experience and aesthetic of reading and owning books like this, but I have to admit, I rarely pick them up again after reading them. They just collect dust on my shelf, and note-taking is kind of not that easy. I lose the quotes and highlights I've highlighted the moment that they are shelved. Add to that the fact that it's not that convenient to carry these around, and I'd argue that the cost of buying a book in physical form is often higher, and you're likely just to shelve it and get rid of it afterwards. So, whilst physical books are lovely, in 2024, I think they fall well short of some amazing tech-focused solutions to truly optimize your ability to read more, and particularly retain the knowledge you gain. So let's talk iPad versus Kindle and all the rest. Of all the devices here that I've used, the Kindle has been the most effective piece of tech in removing that friction of accessing and committing to reading books for a few really powerful reasons. Once you've made the investment of buying one of these, this is the Kindle Paperwhite, it will make you read so many more books than you did before. The advantages over the iPad include the weight, portability, and I would say I feel far happier holding one of these over the pool than an expensive iPad product. Kindles are e-ink screens. That means that they are a lot kinder on your eyes as well than an LED screen, and you can read at night. In fact, this one has a dark mode setting, which I really like using for that reason. And actually, let's be honest, you can pretty much read anywhere with one of these. The most notable thing though about the convenience of a Kindle is that you're able to buy books directly on it anywhere, anytime. It's super easy. Anytime someone recommends me a book, I can either download it directly to the Kindle. That's not something that is possible on the iPad app for Kindle, by the way, but you can also jump on your phone and go to Amazon and it will be automatically added to the Kindle once you've downloaded it. Now, the other advantage of buying ebooks over paper books is that they can be very low cost. There's often a lot of promotions on them, but not to mention, you can carry all of your books with you wherever you go. Now that is a lot better. However, there are a few big issues here that might make you question if the Kindle is the right solution for you. Maybe you already own an iPad and are thinking, well, why would I want to carry two devices and spend the money on another device? Whilst this device is built very specifically with the reading experience front and center, it's really good for that. Actually, like, navigating around it is really quite annoying, and that is because it's an e-ink screen. It will essentially have to re-render the page every time you change it, so it's really slow. It's a terrible thing to navigate, but once you're actually into the book, it's fantastic. And whilst highlighting quotes is really good on the Kindle, actually then making notes on it can be really quite difficult to type. So it's not the perfect place for that. That said, I recommend considering a subscription to the service from Readwise, a great app that syncs all your highlights and notes from your Kindle or Kindle app. I even use it for things like podcasts from my Snipped app. And it's been an absolute game changer because I can use it to collate all of my quotes and ideas from my reading and automatically then also send them over to Notion, where I have a knowledge hub where I can keep all my ideas and link them to projects. And that actually means that I will remember more of what I've read. Fantastic. So overall, the Kindle paired with Readwise and something like Notion is brilliant as a focused choice for most people and will remove that friction of reading and gathering knowledge effectively. But its limitations are in note-taking and the rather kind of drab plastic aesthetic that comes with it. Perhaps a reason to jump to a smarter tablet like the iPad. And in fact, you might be pleasantly surprised by this little colour e-ink tablet that bridges the gap between both, but more on that in a bit. So, the iPad. I'm a big fan, and for a while I even used one of these as my only computer to make it a financially viable option. But overall, if you can afford one and don't see it as a computer replacement, it is the perfect research and learning companion. The advantages of the iPad are clear. It's the perfect tech solution for combining digital note-taking with reading and all the rest of it. And if you already own one, it wins too on convenience versus also then going and buying a Kindle. Then again, if you don't own one, should you really pay hundreds of dollars just to read books on one? Well, most people don't use an iPad to its fullest extent, and it might surprise you how many ways you can improve the reading and learning experience. So first off, we can download the Kindle app or the Apple Books app and have full access to all of our books. You could then of course pair that with the Readwise app, but this time the device is optimized for better note-taking. So if I'm in my Kindle, jump into that same page, what I can also now do is not only use the Apple Pencil for highlighting in a very precise way, but if I want to take notes, I can click onto that. And the advantage of an iPad, of course, is that we can type on it. This makes it by far my favorite device to use when making more serious notes on a book. An iPad mini or a 10th gen like this one could be a perfect choice as an upgrade to your Kindle for the serious learner. But you do of course lose out on that friendly e-ink screen for longer reading sessions. So if you're someone who reads for work and study, this is probably a great choice. I love the split screen view as well. So I can drag something like the Apple Notes app or my Notion page, or even something like Notability or GoodNotes for handwritten notes, and I can literally type notes next to the Kindle while I'm looking at it. I can copy things, paste quotes into that page really simply and easily. Now there is, however, a serious downside to using the iPad for reading: distractions. Whilst you might believe that you have the willpower to stay focused, there is something about those colourful, dopamine-rich apps waiting for you just behind your reading that makes it oh so easy to lose focus. And yes, whilst Apple's focus modes could be a great solution to this, let's be honest, it's a simple, small barrier compared to the calm and uninterrupted experience of reading on a simple Kindle or a paper book. Not to mention anything other than an iPad mini, and you might find that holding this for a longer period of time could be a little trickier. But if you want the Kindle convenience and iPad note-taking ability, there might be one more left field solution to offer that is the perfect combination of both worlds. Before that though, I want to share another brilliant tool that has supercharged my reading, and that is Shortform. Now if you haven't heard of Shortform, it's a kind of super-powered non-fiction book summary tool. The app is not intended as a replacement for reading books, you've got to do that, right? But I personally like to use it to read a condensed view of a book, so I have a clearer overview of it before I choose to read it in full. It's also my favourite way to recap key ideas from one I read a while ago. So I was recently creating a video on habits and journaling, and I was able to re-find ideas from this paper copy of Atomic Habits by jumping into Shortform and finding the summaries through condensed views. But that's not the best bit. Shortform also suggests other reading to check out, like in this case, the bullet journaling method or the organised mind. But really, for me, the main reason I think Shortform is worth your consideration in your stack is because it goes beyond summaries with wider analysis of ideas, guided reflections, exercises, highlighting alternative points of view. They've even recently been creating additional resources like these master guides that compile the work of several books into one comprehensive guide on any topic. So if you are trying to get into a better habit of, say, reading, then you should check out their master guide on changing your habits and building better habits after this. So if you're like me and want to deepen your understanding of subjects like self-improvement, productivity, entrepreneurship, all the rest, give Shortform a try. You can get 5 days unlimited access and a 20% discount on the annual subscription when joining Shortform through my special link /Better Creating. So that's essentially 2.5 months free. Link in the description, and thank you Shortform for sponsoring this part of the video. So, the alternative reading devices not to underestimate. The first one is this, the Books Note Air 3C. It's a super versatile colour e-ink tablet that does a lot more than just let you read books. It has essentially access to the full Android App Store. So that makes it a really great iPad alternative, and because it's e-ink, it's a great Kindle alternative. Reading, note-taking, drawing, watching, creating, it might seem like, you know, a silly idea to have a Kindle and an iPad. This could be a great bet for you. And it might bridge that gap as both a Kindle and iPad replacement. Kind of. With the Books, you have a solid UI that is super easy to install and log into on my Kindle as well. So I can go to my apps page, we could jump into Kindle, and you've got a colour e-ink screen for your Kindle. That could be really exciting. They also got the size right. It's smaller than other Books models, and it's okay to hold, therefore, when reading. I like this little kind of handle on one side. The note-taking system is also really lovely to use. So we've actually got a notes page where you can write and use the pen, pencil as you would want, so that's all good. And although it's a little light in the hand, this pen, it feels much more like paper when you are drawing on the notepad compared to the iPad, and will be far less strain on your eyes when you do it. Plus, I can also take a view of my Notion account within this as well, so that's my knowledge and clippings hub also on the device. The negatives, I suppose this is pretty expensive for a specialist device like this, that you won't really want to do things like watch videos on necessarily, and you still get that kind of e-ink delay when you're navigating through it, but it's not too bad. You also have that other issue, of course, of the possibilities of distractions from using other apps when reading. But this is a great bit of tech for around the $500 mark, and it's probably the best e-ink tablet all-rounder out there. If you see this as the perfect solution, try it. I think you'll like it. Okay, so that's the tablets, but now we reach the left field tech contenders that might soon be set to change the future of how we read.
Hi, I'm Mr. Beast.
And we should probably talk about these things. Through this video, you might have been thinking, this is all good, but what if I never have time to actually read? Or maybe you find reading difficult for other reasons, dyslexia, ADHD, maybe you just want to be able to consume things faster than you can take the words off the page. Well, the current AI revolution is transforming reading and learning in amazing new ways, and it's been really cool to learn about it. First, yes, we have to give a notable mention to audiobook services like listening on Audible. You can listen to books and downloads in downtime, times like driving, when a page is not an option, but honestly, carefully selecting books to listen to is a great option for just reading more. And if you want to get through a lot of books, the affordability of a Audible subscription model is worth it. You'll get credits against your subscription and you just tend to be able to access more. However, a challenge, of course, is being able to capture your notes. But there is a possible better option to read and listen at the same time. Text-to-speech and AI-supported services that enhance your reading experience. I recommend looking into what Speechify is doing. They are essentially providing an app and extensions that will read anything to you, and it's unbelievable.
I recently rewrote it to convey the core ideas.
Speechify also recently became the only real competitor to Audible in that they are making audiobooks available, and soon that service should also provide both read and listen services, and you can drop any book into it and it will read it back to you. Now that could both transform the speed that you read at and how much you retain. So give it a go. And the ability to listen at 1.5x speed, or even as Cliff Weitzman, the founder of Speechify, can do, up to 4.5x speed, is worth trying. Wow, that takes practice. So where does this all leave you in terms of finding the best solution for you to read more? Well, if you're serious about lifelong learning and investing in your commitment to reading, the best solutions are about strategies that we've talked about today. Focusing on removing friction and barriers to picking up a book, choose a system and a budget that allows you to invest in books easily and buy them, and try out a combination of reading and listening devices such as AI text-to-speech to improve both your speed and retention. Find the right place and time to help you read without distractions as a regular habit, and of course, make sure you have a place to capture what you remember. And on that note, we've talked about the value of systems like Readwise to help you capture your quotes and notes, but unless you know how to easily turn those into meaningful actions, you'll likely still feel like you're reading kind of for nothing. So watch this video next where I show you how creating yourself a second brain can be the most powerful tool in turning your learning into tangible results. It would be awesome if you subscribed if you haven't, amazing if you left a like, and well, I'd better get back to creating. See ya.